Hey up everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'll be doing me tips for round 12 of the 2022 NRL season. Last week I got 7 out of 8 right. Let me know in the comment section below how many you got right. This week sees a lot of tough games to pick. There's some games which are flipping the coin and can go either way. So let's start off with the first match, which is kicking off on Thursday night between Melbourne and Manly. This match is being played at Amy Park and it sees Melbourne in second against Manly in 10th. Melbourne have won 4 of their last 5 matches against Manly, so in recent times Melbourne have a good record against Manly. With Melbourne losing the other week against North Queensland, it was only the second time since 2018 that Melbourne had lost back-to-back games in a row. If they were to lose against Manly on Thursday night, it would be the first time since 2015 when Melbourne lost 3 matches in a row. That hasn't occurred since between round 15 and round 18 of that season. So I imagine after what happened last week, I'm pretty sure that Melbourne will come out very, very strongly for this match. I believe that they have Jerome Hughes as well. Manly are without Tom Trbojevic for an extended period. I will go for Melbourne to win 13 plus. I think they'll be too strong for Manly down in Melbourne, and I think that they'll win. The first match on the Friday sees Penrith against North Queensland, and this one's being played at Penrith Park. It sees Penrith in first, North Queensland in third. This is definitely the game of the round. Looking at the two sides with their head-to-head going through past years, it's actually quite even. Both sides have won against each other. It's almost 5 apiece in the last 10 meetings between these two sides. Penrith are very, very tough to beat at home. They've only lost the one match in the last 2 seasons at Penrith, and that was against Parramatta the other week. And North Queensland have won 6 matches in a row. They're on fire at the moment, there's no doubt about that. They're playing very, very well as a unit. They're really enjoying their rugby out there. This is definitely, I think, could potentially be one of the games of the year as well. I think it'll be dead close. I will go for Penrith to win though. I'll go for them to win between 1 to 12 points. I don't think that there's going to be too much in this game. I think it'll be a try here or there to decide it. But yeah, Penrith's record at home is very, very good, and they've been playing well this year. So have North Queensland, but I will take the safe option and go for Penrith to win at home. The main game on the Friday sees Brisbane up against the Gold Coast. This one's being played at Suncorp Stadium. Brisbane in 5th, the Gold Coast in 13th. Brisbane have been playing very, very well this year, and the Gold Coast haven't been playing well at all. Apparently, for some people, this is a massive rivalry game. If you listen to the likes of Clarkey, especially how he carried on last year, he said that Brisbane were now the little brother and Gold Coast were the big brother. Well, I think Brisbane will always be the big brother in this meeting between these two sides. The Gold Coast don't really have too much to boast about in their history, but looking at the head-to-head between the two sides, the Gold Coast have a very poor record against Brisbane. There's been 31 matches played. Brisbane's won 21 of those, and the Gold Coast have only won the 10. So head-to-head and the previous history between the two sides goes towards Brisbane. For this game, I think that Brisbane will win 13 plus. I think they'll be too strong for the Gold Coast at Suncorp Stadium there, and they'll continue their good record to start the year. I just don't really see the Gold Coast winning this game, so I'll go for Brisbane to win 13 plus. The first game on Super Saturday is between New Zealand and Newcastle. This one's being played at Martin Daly Stadium there at Redcliffe. New Zealand in 12th, Newcastle in 15th. The head-to-head between these two sides over the last few years has been quite even. New Zealand's lost the last 3 matches in a row in the competition, however. This is a real toss of the coin match. This is one of these games that could literally go either way. It's very hard to get a read on both of these sides. Both of them are very disappointing. Both of them are not very good. You may as well just get a coin out of your pocket and just flip and just hope for the best. I've read that New Zealand are unbeaten at Redcliffe, so that's something for the New Zealand fans to hold on to for a bit of hope. I'll go for New Zealand to win 1 to 12. I mean, it could go the other way, as I said, but I'll go for New Zealand to win 1 to 12. I just think that they'll get the win over Newcastle and Redcliffe. The second match on Super Saturday is between South Sydney and West Tigers. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. it sees South Sydney in 8th, West Tigers in 14th. Looking at the head-to-head between these two sides, it's quite even in recent times gone by. South Sydney, very inconsistent this year. I tipped them to beat Canterbury. They're the only team that let me down. With this match, it's another flip of the coin. Are we going to get a South Sydney who are going to show up, and are they going to put on a great attacking display and a tough defensive display, or are we going to get another one of these matches that we saw earlier in the year between these two sides where the West Tigers hung in there and won by a point? It's one of those matches that could go either way, but I'm going to go for the upset here. I think that's I can see the West Tigers doing the double over South this year. So I'll go for West Tigers to win 1-12 on the Super Saturday at Stadium Australia. And the final game on Super Saturday sees Cronulla Sutherland up against Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Shark Park. Cronulla in 4th and Sydney Roosters in 7th. East have a very good record against Cronulla recently. They've won their last 6 encounters between these two sides. Cronulla's last victory over East come in round 17 of the 2017 season, where Cronulla won that match 44 points to 12. One thing for Cronulla though this year that a lot of their fans will know is that they've been undefeated at home this year. They've been very tough to beat at Shark Park. Notoriously, they are very hard to beat at Shark Park. East have been very indifferent this year. They've had some good performances. They've had some very bad performances. This is another match that could go either way. Maybe East will show up and they'll get a very important win over Cronulla, or Cronulla could once again be a very, very tough opponent at home. I'm going to go for Cronulla to win this match 1-12. I think that they'll get the win over Eastern Suburbs. I think East haven't been playing too well this year. Cronulla very good at home. So I'll go for Cronulla to win 1-12 on the Super Saturday there at Shark Park. The first match on Super Saturday is between Canterbury Bankstown and St George. This one's being played at the Belmore Sports Ground. Canterbury sat dead last in 16th place, St George in 11th. This is a game where, well, this is a game between two clubs that really, really despise each other. And it's one of the best rivalries in the NRL, I think, especially when both teams are doing well. Both teams over the last couple of years have fallen on hard times, but if you count St George and St George Illawarra as the one club, as I do, there's been 173 matches played between these two sides. Canterbury's got 78 wins, St George got 90 wins, and there's been 5 draws. And of course, Canterbury's first ever game in the competition was against St George back in 1935, and St George beat them 91 points to 6. And there's been grand finals, there's been finals matches between these two sides down the ages. This will be St George's first NRL match, you could say, at Belmore Sports Ground since the 14th of April 1996, and St George won that match 26 points to 6. Also, St George used Belmore Sports Ground as a home ground there back in 1988 while Cogra Oval was getting redeveloped. Canterbury's lost their last 3 matches in a row. They're sat dead last on the table. They've got a change in coach though. I think one thing that's really going to help Canterbury in this match is the fact that it's at Belmore Sports Ground. If they can get a decent crowd in there and generate some atmosphere, Belmore Sports Ground's actually a pretty intimidating place to go for the opposition. Bearing that in mind, I will go for Canterbury to win this game. I'll go for the upset. I think that they can do it in front of their own fans there at Belmore Sports Ground. I think that the fans will get behind them, so I'll go for Canterbury to win this match 1-12 on Sunday. And the final match to close out round 12 of the competition is between Canterbury and Parramatta. This one's being played at GIO Stadium there in Canterbury. Canterbury in 9th, Parramatta in 6th. Canterbury have a good head-to-head record against Parramatta in recent times. They've won 6 of their last 10 meetings against Parry, and with Parramatta going down to Canberra, their record's not very good down there. Since 1991, Parramatta's only won 5 matches against Canberra at Bruce Stadium or GIO Stadium. Canberra's won their last 3 matches in a row. Parramatta's been quite good this year. Even in the matches where they've lost, they haven't lost by much, except for that game against North Queensland. The other matches that they lost against Cronulla after the full-time siren, against West Tigers on the siren, and they got narrowly beaten by Eastern Suburbs there. So They've been playing well this year. Normally, I probably would go for Canberra to win this game, but I think if Parramatta are serious this year, as I said last week, they should really take it to Canberra and they should really win this game there on the Sunday. So I will go for Parramatta to win 1-12 on Sunday down there in Canberra. Micah Sivo looks set to be named in the squad as well, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he scored a try on his long-awaited return to the club. So I'll go for Parramatta to win 1-12. So that's been my tips for round 12 of the 2022 NRL season. I hope you enjoyed this tipping video, and I hope that you enjoyed the tips that I brought you. Let me know in the comment section below who you're tipping, winning margins, and if you have an acca or remotely on this weekend, let me know. Stay tuned for this Wednesday, 8 o'clock UK time. I'll be doing episode 6 of the View from the North podcast with Dave, aka Just Rugby League. We'll be talking about the Challenge Cup final between Wigan and Huddersfield down there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next Saturday, I believe it is. So stay tuned for that one. But anyways, this has been Rugby League History. I'll catch you all later in the next video. And look after yourselves. And I'll be doing another video very, very shortly. Alright, tatty bye for now.